back. I watched the Hopewell video that I made and realized that I made a minor mistake this time. At the end, I jumped right over feathers when counting trade goods. So we're going to start Mississippian with 4 instead of 3. It's a little bit better, still not good. But here we go. Let's start Mississippian era. So we'll just draw a card. And play continues the same. There'll be some changes that we'll find out. I notice that I get 3 APs on top of the one I saved. It's 4. We're going to have a Caddo Revolt. Caddo Revolt still works the same way, but the definition of our empire changes. It's now defined by the standee, not the peace pipe, because some of the lines don't have peace pipes. So let's roll for the revolt and let's see if it occurs within or outside of. It occurs within, but remember, an unorganized wilderness territory will not revolt. So if this was a chiefdom, then it would advance, even though I have a peace pipe. If I would have rolled in their lands, this is considered their land, and behind, he would actually retreat. Homelands and circles don't revolt, so it's considered a non-roll. Then we got the Shawnee are going to be in ascension, and then we have some movement. This is the Natchez and the Shawnee, and those symbols are on the board. You don't need to memorize them, but it's not so bad. So normally when a tribe moves, that they are going to start marching on Cahokia. And when Cahokia falls, the game's over. If they run into a peace pipe, then that stops their movement and the peace pipe is removed. So that's symbolic of their breaking their alliance. They're declaring war on us. So both of these nations do that. And that is the end of their actions here. Time for us to spend our 4 APs. We're only allowed to save one of them. And one of the most important things you need to do is keep track of your trade goods and the effect that the end of the turn will have on your trade goods. And I notice, well, first let's talk about the end of the round. At the end of the round, any chiefdom that is in enemy control will be removed from the game unless there's a peace pipe on that warpath. So this chiefdom here is not at risk because I have a peace pipe on that warpath. However, these 2 chert are at risk, and remember, it takes 2 to make that 1 trade good. So if I lose either one of these, then my trade goods will be reduced by 1. So it's priority number 1 to save these. And then I look up here and I realize that it's feathers. Yeah, it would suck to lose it, but I have feathers mounded, so I would not lose the trade good. And same with this. So we've got 4 APs. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to drive back the Natchez and the Cherokee. So I'm going to spend 1, and we're going to try to drive back the Natchez. And the way we do this is we just roll against the value on their standee. So we need to roll higher than a 2. This is against the Natchez, and we get it. So that just drives them back. We could keep driving them back, but the farthest we could drive them back is to their homeland. So we're going to spend another 1, and we're going to try to drive the Cherokee back. So we're just going to try to roll higher than a 2, and we fail. So we're going to try again. And this time, since I don't want to risk it, I'm going to use the Great Sun, which he is one of my great warriors. He rides out with my army, and the benefit is I get to roll 2 dice. And we got it. So we have saved our church. We've got 1 AP left. I think I'm going to save it. These guys are in ascension. There's no sense trying to drive them back. We'd have to roll a 5 or a 6 because it would bump their value up. And we're going to save it because we're still going to have eyes on mounding that feathers we talked about. So the end of the turn, these are removed. This doesn't have an impact on our trade. And the Great Sun becomes available, and this is removed. So that is the end of our first turn in the Mississippian era. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. On to turn 2. Again, we'll stop counting turns because I will lose track. All right, we got a new card. So we have a black circle. So the way we calculate our APs with the black circle is we take the value that we have, 4, and then we actually have to subtract the black circle, so 5. I get -1. It doesn't drop me down. The minimum I can gain from this little transaction is 1, so I will gain 1. And then these symbols mean I get bonus APs for every mica and seashell chiefdom that I have on the board. I know I don't have seashells because there's only one, and it didn't come out. And there's 1 mica on the board. So I'm going to get 1 AP for that. Excuse me. We don't have any ascension or declination of nations. This is the Natchez are going to move, and the Cherokee are actually going to move twice. So the Natchez move, which puts this chert in danger, and the Cherokee are going to move twice, which really puts this chert in danger. I would need to drive him back twice to save it. So we've got 3 APs. We're going to need to go perfect. We're going to have to drive them back and then him back twice. We got to be perfect about it. So let's go for the Natchez first. We got it. Let's go for the Cherokee, and we're going to use the Great Sun because rolling a 1 makes you lose 1, and I don't want to lose that last one. So we're going to use the Great Sun, and we're going to ambush the Cherokee. So 2 dice, and we got it. So far, so good. And we got 1 more shot at driving those Cherokee out. We need to roll higher than a 2. And we got it. So a fine start. Very neutral. Essentially, we have lost the AP that we started with. And we burned up 2 cards. Our next card, we get 3 APs. The Natchez are in decline. The Caddo move into a peace pipe. And the Cherokee move, so they keep moving. I get 3 APs, so what are we going to do? We're going to push this guy back because we're going to try to save our chert. So we're going to spend, and he's available. So we're going to spend 1 on pushing the Cherokee back. And we succeeded. And then I get 2. We might lose our copper here. That has no effect on trade. I think we will spend the last 2. We're going to start bumping up our palisades because we need to do that sooner or later. So let's do that. Let's spend 2 on bumping up our palisades. Okay, that's the end of the turn. We didn't use our Great Sun. That's okay. This goes back, and nothing is in danger. This is gone. And that is the end of the turn. I'll be right back. Okay, continuing along. And a dog barking outside. We'll do maybe 1 turn. 4 minus 4 is 0, but we always get 1. And we get a bonus for copper, which we just lost. So we don't get any. We got 1 whole AP here. The Ho-Chunk are going to move twice. These guys are a pain in the butt. And the Shawnee are going to move once. I think I might defend against that. And the Cherokee are going to move once. Okay, since we only have 1 AP, and we don't necessarily want to lose this hides, it won't affect trade because we still have 2. We're going to spend our 1 here. And since we can, we're going to defend. When a standee lands on a mounded chiefdom, we're allowed to defend it. And we have to roll higher than the mounded value. So this is a free, it's not an AP spent. We're defending against the Shawnee. We have to roll higher than a 3. And we do. So what that does is it drives the Shawnee back. I think we'll use the Great Sun, and we'll guarantee, or as long as we don't roll snake eyes, to get as long as we roll a 3, because they're not in declination. Anyway, we're spending our 1, we're driving the Cherokee back, and we got them to go back. But what did happen is we lost both of these, Chalcedony and hides, I believe. Yeah, they're both okay. Caledonia is here. We don't lose it because it's mounded. And hides, I think we just pointed out. And we got mounded hides here, so we're okay with losing these two. Okay. Pushing forward. Okay, we've got a nice Hopewell card. There's no movement on a Hopewell card. But we do have the Shawnee Indeclination and a Shawnee Revolt, which could be a pain. Where's the... Okay, so let's do that. Shawnee Revolt. A 4. A 4 is a circle. Now, if this was if I would have rolled a 5, then that would have actually pulled them back. But remember, nothing happens in a circle. So that is the end of their actions. We get our 3 APs with the Great Sun. What I think I'll do, so we could take advantage of... Oh, I got 2 thoughts. Take advantage of the Great Sun and try to push back the Ho-Chunks. I think that's what I'm inclined to do. I could also mound up this mica. This is the only mica on the board, and that would actually give me another trade good. I think what I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's better. I think I'm going to try to drive those Ho-Chunk back. So we're going to use the Great Sun, and we're going to roll at the Ho-Chunk. So I need 5 or 6, which we failed. That stinks. That was 1. We'll get 2 more. Yeah, that stinks. Hindsight. I could. Ooh. Kind of twofer. I could mound up this pipestone. Because it's in decline, this would only cost 2. And what that does is that'll give me pipestone, which is an extra trade good. So we'll call that the end of the turn. Those Ho-Chunks are on the board, on my doorstep. We need to increase our palisades or get that feathers mounted. Okay, next turn we've got Moundville. Ho-Chunk are moving, so we get 4 APs. It becomes available. The Cherokee are going to revolt, so let's roll. And the Cherokee revolt. A 5. That is in their land, so they retreat by 1. And we've got the Natchez are in Ascension. The Ho-Chunk move. I can't defend because it's not mounded. And the Natchez move. So we need to attempt to save our chert. With a greater than a 3, we really ought to prioritize here. We've got 4 AP to spend. I'm going to spend 1 with the Great Sun, and we're going to go after those Ho-Chunk again. So I get 2 dice. Crap, we failed. I'm going to keep rolling at the Ho-Chunk. Okay, we did get them. Okay, so the Ho-Chunk moved backwards. Well, we've got 2 AP left. We're going to try to save our church. So we're going to roll at the Natchez. I need to roll higher than a 3 because they're in Ascension. That doesn't work. And our last one against the Natchez, we failed. Okay, so the end of the turn, Great Sun becomes available. We lose the chert, which has an effect on our trade goods. I'm going to figure out what this dog wants, and I'll be right back. Okay, pressing forward. We only get 1 AP. The Natchez are in Ascension. They move. And they move. I don't think I'm going to defend because I think I'm going to attack with the Great Sun. I only have 1 action point. Nothing's in danger. So let's attack the Shawnee with the Great Sun. We'll use our AP. And we need to roll higher than a 3. We got it. And that's that card. Pause, dogs drinking water. Okay, the end of that last turn. Great Sun becomes available. We're running out of room down here. Red Wing. So we've got 3 APs. The Ho-Chunker in decline. This might be a chance for us to push him back. Or better yet, we can mound those feathers. As long as these guys don't do anything bad to us. Cherokee move forward. That's okay. And the Natchez move forward. Okay, now here's my plan. My plan is, because these are in decline, I can mound this with a cost of 3. But that's all of my APs. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to risk defending with this. So I need to roll higher than a 2. This is a free roll. Oh dear, I missed the box. Oh shit, so that's really bad. What happens is the feathers get turned over because we rolled a 1. If we would have rolled 2, they would have stayed there. But we rolled a 1, and that's one of the risks of defending. But we're not going to lose feathers because we're going to spend 3 AP, and we're going to mount this one up. And that is the end of our turn. Again, we didn't use the Great Sun. Okay. Pipestone is 4 minus 4 is 1. Well, it's 0, but a minimum of 1. And then I get a bonus for every pipestone on the board. I know that we have 1. The Ho-Chunk are going to move. They're no longer in decline. But we will defend, because it's easier to defend with that 2 than it is to push back a 4. That's why having that 2 here was so important to me. So we're going to defend against that. Advance and pass, which pushes them back. And the Shawnee are going to advance. And I think we will let them advance because we're going to push them back and we're going to push the Shawnee back. So the first thing we'll do is we'll push the Shawnee back with the Great Sun. So we need to roll higher than a 3. Uh-oh, we failed. And then we're going to spend 1. What is this? This is hides. Hides will not have an effect on us because we have hides and hides. And so we're going to spend the other 1 pushing the Natchez back. Yeah, we got that. So at the end of the turn, this, because it's mounded, it doesn't go away. It only flips over. So we're still okay. Great Sun becomes available. There wasn't one of those. I am going to pause. And now we'll play 1 more. I like to pause because it gives me a little chance to turn my brain off and not be doing this. So I get 4 minus 1 is 3. That's pretty good. Everything is in decline, which is good. Where's my... So when they're all in decline, it goes here. And the Cherokee are going to move forward. I don't need to save the chert anymore. I might, but I don't need to. I think what we'll do, I wouldn't mind mounding something up. Obsidian would give me, does this defend at a 2? It does. That would be all of my APs, so. We're in a pretty good spot. I'm not gonna mound up that obsidian. I'm gonna push some dudes back. So we're gonna use the Great Sun. No, we're not. We're just gonna use 1, and we're gonna try to push these back. That'll cost a 2 because they're in decline. So we need to roll higher than a 2. This is attempting to push back the Shawnee. And we succeeded. So we have pushed them back. I think I will re-mound that for 1. And maybe we save this chert and mound it later. It's still a bad one. Well, that's an awful one. I'm going to mound these feathers. just in case I need a defensive roll, because I know that's a good one. Okay, so that is the end of the turn. I will pause at this point, and we're at 20 minutes, so we can probably get a couple more turns in. I'll be back. Okay, the end of that last turn, great sun. We lose this chert, which is no big deal. We had already lost chert. Trade goods check. We got 4. Chalcedony, feathers, pipestone, and hides. Okay, so we got 4. Let's push forward. Tobacco, 4 minus 3 is 1. The Cherokee are in decline. And they move. And so do the Natchez. They move. The Natchez move. I think I will defend, because I wouldn't mind using that AP to push back the Cherokee. So this is defensive roll. It's free. We got it. So that they go back. And let's go ahead and push back the Cherokee. So with the Great Sun, and they're in decline, so they're 1. All I got to do is not roll snake eyes. Oh my goodness, we almost did. But it worked. Okay, at the end of that turn, we don't lose anything on the board. That becomes available. And hang on one sec. Okay, we'll probably squeeze in a couple more. We're at Chucalissa, maybe? I get 2 APs. I spent this. I did. I spent it with the Great Sun attacking the Cherokee. We're going to have a Shawnee Revolt. This is actually safe because both of those have Birdmen on it. Maybe it'll help us. 3. It does help us. This is in their land, so it retreats them by 1. And the Natchez are in decline. And the Caddo are going to advance, and I'll defend against that because rolling at a 2 is better than rolling at a 3. And they are in decline. So this is a defensive roll, does not cost an AP, and we succeed. Okay, what are we going to do? We've got 2. I can't quite mound up that obsidian. It would cost 3. I'm not going to push anyone back. Maybe we can build palisades. I think that's what we'll do. Is we're going to build palisades. We're going to spend 2 AP, and we're going to click this up 1 down to a defense of 3. I think we'll end part 2 there. We'll pick up with part 3 when we return. The end of the turn, this goes away. Great Sun's available. We haven't seen a black tortoise yet, which is interesting. All right. I'll see you on the flip side.